Hi, this is Neil San Dynasty coming to you live from the basement. My basement. Best place in the world to be, because that's where I'm at. I have not done a lot of stories intentionally on things that have been going on in certain areas of biology, I guess, for a better way to state it without saying anything. I'll let some other people who've been able to make it through the YouTube algorithms tell you, so that way I don't take any hits. But out of Wuhan, there have been several stories that I have not covered because I figured you guys were, overwhelmed with the info and whatnot. But I have posted a few stories that are key that this story fits in with. So it's going to be 3 or 4 minutes. I'll throw some of my personal commentary in there as it's going. But here it is.
The sanctions and the Russian economy is still afloat. China, on the other hand, is struggling. Chinese banks have frozen deposits. Local governments are broke, and China is unable to shake off the latest wave of Wuhan virus cases. In fact, the Wuhan virus is now back in Wuhan.
Okay, right off the bat, the name of this strain she is using is different than what we are not allowed to say on YouTube, which I find very interesting. They have like almost 1 million subscribers, and she's using different words to describe the Corona beer thing.
Wuhan, the original epicenter of the pandemic. It's reporting a fresh outbreak. How many cases? Just 4 so far. And all the patients are asymptomatic. The outbreak is limited to just one district. That is what China claims. But in typical fashion, China has ordered everyone to stay at home. We're talking about 1 million citizens under lockdown in Wuhan. 1 million. They're not allowed to move around anymore. Large group events have been banned. Dining at restaurants, also banned. Entertainment venues and markets, closed. Bus and subway services, suspended. China's zero COVID protocol is kicking in Wuhan. The people are afraid of what could follow. The present lockdown is nothing like 2020. Back then, 11 million people were under lockdown in Wuhan. This time, around 970,000. But the people of Wuhan fear that this is just the beginning and that Beijing will widen these restrictions. In 2020, the people of Wuhan lived through their worst nightmare. The Chinese state botched up its response. First, it contained the outbreak. Then, it silenced the whistleblowers. Finally, when the cases began to grow, China attempted a cover-up. By then, it was too late. The Wuhan virus had...
I can almost guarantee you, if this goes to any international court with just what she stated, if it can be proven as factual, which I'm pretty sure it has been because YouTube didn't censor them, China's guilty of some crap, and they ain't got no money to pay the bill.
Spread across mainland China, and from there it springboarded to the rest of the world. By August 2020, almost the entire world was struggling with the Wuhan virus. What about Wuhan? Well, the city came out of the lockdown, and almost immediately the residents were out and about. They were partying. You might remember these
This is interesting here.
pictures. Thousands of people in an open-air water park. There were no masks or social distancing. The Chinese state was pulling off the mother of all spins here. It claimed victory over the Wuhan virus. 2 years later, they're back to where they started. Wuhan is under lockdown again, and the Chinese state is unable to tame this homegrown virus. Beijing also
Homegrown virus. Words are important.
tried to evade responsibility for the spread. Remember, China insists that the pandemic did not begin in Wuhan, but the world sees it as the epicenter. And despite China's best efforts, more evidence keeps coming out. 2 new studies have been published. They confirm what many have suspected. The Wuhan wet market was the launch pad for the virus. These are 2 new studies. Let me tell you what they found. These scientists studied the initial cases linked to the wet market. This is the Huanan seafood market. China had immediately shut it down when the first cases were reported. This happened in December 2019. The scientists looked into these early cases and their findings are very interesting. They say that...
Okay, first off, another interesting thing. I was in Hawaii, December 2019, and there was a couple planefuls of Chinese that came in from Wuhan, because that's when I got COVID, was in Hawaii, December 2019. It's interesting she mentioned that.
The virus jumped from animals to humans. There are at least 2 separate transmission events. They could have happened in November 2019. Let me show you a map. This is the city of Wuhan. The dots here represent the patients who tested positive in December 2019. Now do you see the cluster of cases in the middle? That's where the Huanan wet market is. Most of the cases detected in the early days were found near the market. Did they come from a lab and spread in the market? Or did they originate in the market? If you ask China, none of the above. It denies that the pandemic even began in Wuhan. The world, though, knows otherwise, and the proof is piling up. WION is now available in your country.
Now, I just did a story about China flying some of their war jets over India. After this report, I can see why they did that. You guys buy some silver, some platinum, be kind, helpful, grateful, and enjoy your evening. Goodbye.